So Jurnal, if you have any questions, please write in the comments, and at the end of the presentation won't last too long, but we'll definitely jump into the questions right after it. So this is a very important step for Amazing Aerial and for our contributors. This is something that we wanted to do for a very, very long time, because there was always the questions of saying, hey, Paul, what should I shoot? What should I go out and shoot? And my typical answer was always diversity, build a diverse portfolio of cityscapes and landscapes. And so what I really want to do now is to hone in onto what is really, really in demand. And this is definitely going to help you increase your sales, but also give you creative direction into what to shoot. At the beginning of the year, we introduced the good, the bad, and the ugly. So the ugly concept, and a lot of the feedback around the ugly concept was, oh, I'm finding a lot of beauty in the ugly. So it's not because we need to go out and shoot what sells, is that we're giving up on our creativity. It's more about reaching out and trying to get what the client actually needs. That will also be a great feature in our new platform that we're launching again, is about clients not only looking to our archive, into what we have that exists, but also to be able to hire us as photographers related to any jobs that would come up. Just have to also drink a little bit of water. So I'm going to jump into the presentation and explain a few things, and then we can have a conversation. So let me share my screen. Okay. Great. So this is my changing world, my changing environment. As we can see, when we go out every day, things are changing in our environment for the good and for the bad. And I think it's really important that as photographers and photojournalists, we have the capability of going out and shooting that. So of course, it can be data centers, it can be construction, it could also be demonstrations. Everything that's in our world is changing, and it is our role as photojournalists to be able to document that. So this is a never seen before. So it's a 40-day challenge, and when we say 45-day challenge, it might seem overwhelming, but it's the opposite. It's going to give us 45 days to go through this and to communicate and be together in this journey. And of course, it won't end after 45 days, but this is the focus for the next 45 days. So what is there to expect? So what I have established is that we have weekly calls, and these are our checkpoints, where we're going to have a look at what happened over the week, and then look at that, and then move on to the next week. All these calls, of course, will be recorded. There's people in certain time zones that cannot join. There may be people that are traveling, that are busy. So everything, it will always be recorded. So these calls, you can always have access to them once it happened. There's going to be creative direction. So we're going to be telling you what is selling and what is in demand. And I'm going to be also sharing with you a map which was shared by Alexander Bergs a couple of weeks ago, which is, I would say, the most exciting map that actually exists today. And I spent quite a while just going through this map and looking at it and having a very different feeling about the world. And when you see it, you'll understand. And so we'll look at that map. And this map is actually very important because this is going to be the foundation of where we're going to go and shoot, and it's going to be our tool to look at where we can shoot. Then also another point about that is that we're also looking at my changing environment. So there might be certain places in the world where there are more data centers and people, let's say, in other parts of the world where data centers are not growing that much, they might feel that they're being left out. But actually, it's not true. That you just need to document what is in your country and what is in your region, and what is changing and where you're seeing the development. So we'll have a look at the map. Then also today, we're going to be looking at potential earnings when you join the challenge. So based on what our ratio was before, looking at what it is today, and then looking at real life figures, based also on Hugo, who's also in this meeting. And we will also look at where our images are being used. So this is also going to give you a good insight on how these images are used within the press. And of course, also based on the meeting and the webinar that we had last time with Hugo, there was always these questions about legality and being safe and what we should shoot and what we shouldn't. So we'll also have a discussion about that and get clarity. And something else which will also happen over the next 45 days is to level up your skills. So it's not about me telling you, hey, why don't you go and shoot that? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I think. I don't know how long was my mic off. It was just a few seconds.
Just a second.
Okay, great. So, so this is why we're having these weekly calls. It's to give you creative direction, to go out and shoot it, and then upload it. And then we also have within the NAS.io community platform, we have our own private feed. So nobody else than this challenge will actually see this feed. Yes, Tristan, it is recorded. Sorry, I got a little bit background. So what's really important is that we will meet every week and we will give you creative direction, but we also look at how you shot it, so you can post within the feed what you shot. Of course, you have to upload it to Amazing Aerial, but you can also post it in the feed. Other team members that are part of this challenge can make comments, can give tips, and this will be a great way to interact with each other. I can, of course, give you feedback, but other photographers can also give you feedback. So this is a really good way to level up your skills in terms of editing, in terms of composition, in terms of what time of day you're shooting, and what you're shooting. And then the last part is, of course, the prizes. So, of course, participating in this challenge, you will definitely see an increase in sales from your portfolio. But I also wanted to add prizes in this challenge to incentivize you also to actually join. So there will be prizes for the best imagery. There'll be a staff pick, but we will also do a public vote. The way we'll do the public votes, I have to think about it, but I think it's also interesting that we can have a say that the public can also have a look at your work and vote. So this is what we're, just a second. So this is what we will be doing over the next 45 days. I will be here, Michele will be here, and Nunzio will be here to, of course, guide you also in your uploads and answer any questions, and try to keep the communication within the challenge, within the feed. So that means that we can communicate within the platform, within the NAS.io platform, and keep it sweet there. So I'm going to move into the creative direction. So this document I will also post within the challenge, so you'll have access to it. So you've got these links. And I'm going to quickly go through this document that Michele prepared. And it's called Creative Direction Shooting with Commercial Awareness. So the fundamentals are that Amazing Aerial is a premium agency. We want to have highly curated imagery for clients, enterprise clients that are ready to pay a higher price. And we need to respect the curation that we're doing for our collection, that we can keep it high quality. So we have the opportunity as photographers and as drone pilots, so not everybody in the world has a drone, so we are a very rare few that also have the talent and also the licenses to go out and shoot, to be able to showcase and storytell what we're showcasing. So whether it's through video and whether it's through photography, we have this ability. So here, this is about the human element. So we've spoken about this in a few of our emails. If you have just a landscape without any feature, any subject, it loses its depth. And when you add human elements, it gives a different dimension. So try to also, when you're shooting, to give scale and to give purpose. Again, this as well is putting people in their environment. Also here, you can see in terms of light, and also in terms of putting a scale into this picture, it's going to have a lot more value than just a regular landscape. So coming to the ugly stuff, so this is related to what is in demand. Television stations and the press are always talking about what is hot, and I think it is our intention and also the power that we have is to be able to showcase what is happening in our environment. And there's also another aspect, is that you don't need to travel to the other side of the world to get great content. You can also discover what is around you and be really surprised what is hidden in your garden. So what is hot? Data centers, wind turbines, solar farms, high pollution industries, oil refineries, landfills, humans at work, technology, green energy. So these are some of the aspects that we can photograph. Here we're talking about the communication, logistics, heavy industry, humans in their environment, green energy, developing countries. So some countries in the world are growing very, very fast. So this is something that is important to showcase. And of course, the transition of renewable energy. And so a lot of you know these statistics, that aerial photos sell a lot more than ground photos, and then videos in terms of revenue. A video sells in terms of quantity as much as our aerial photos, but you know that the markets of video is lower, and Amazing Aerial developed a premium distribution network, so this is why it's much higher. And
You are muted, Paul.
Yeah, it's okay now.
Okay, yeah, I don't know why seems as if it just mutes me constantly. Okay, but thanks for warning me. So I'm going to move on to the next point, and of course this is an important point for all of us. I think being creative and a community, I think, is very important for Amazing Aero, but also we also invest our time in travel and equipment, and I think that's also really important that the financials are there as well. So 1 year ago, I came up with this 1.5 average ratio that we had at Amazing Aero. So we're actually 1 year gone by, and we need to reshuffle our data. But we actually have some really great up-to-date data thanks to Hugo. But the average ratio that we had at Amazing Aerial 1 year ago is that if you had 1,000 assets, so this is photos and videos, not just photos, but photos and videos, it would generate, you had a ratio of 1.5. That meant that if you had 1,000 assets, you would get $1,500 per year, or approximately $125 per month. So so this is an average. So some people had less and some people had a lot more. I think the person had a lot more had like 14 times. So whatever he had, you'd basically get 14 times. So that was also depending on what the content of his portfolio. So what we're trying to do is to bring this average ratio up for everybody. That we tell you what to shoot, and you shoot it, and it's going to basically bring your revenue up. So we believe that we can double it easily. And from what Hugo has shared with me today, he has even up to 12 times. So that means that for 1,000 assets, you would get to 12,000. These are averages, but these are the potentials that we're looking at. So I think that's very important to understand. So I'm gonna move also to the to Hugo's real life earnings. So for those who were not at the webinar, the live webinar, I also put a link to the webinar here. So you'll be able to click on that and also have a look at that at your own time if you haven't seen that. This is what Hugo shared with me. So you can see when he started in January, he uploaded 400 assets. In February, he had 500. It went to March to 500. Then he started seeing a lot more potential at Amazing Aerial, and then it really accelerated to 1,300, 1,500. And then in June, he had 3,000. And I think, I'm not sure how many he has now, but I think it's close to 5,000 or 6,000. So Hugo works as a full-time photographer, so he really dedicates a lot of his time to this. So you can also see how his revenue has grown, and in June he has $1,800. And of course, as for example, he uploaded in June, but the June uploads will only reflect in July and August. So he has a lot. So as you can see, his ratio, you can see it was started at 2, 2.5, then went to 3, went to 12, and then stayed at 12, and now it went down to 7. It's just because he's growing his portfolio, and then his sales are going to reflect. So it's possible that it averages out over time to less than 12, but this is to give you an example of the opportunities that you have here. So I just have a few more slides until we move into the questions and creative direction. So I just wanted to show you also where we appear. So these are press agencies that are licensing, that are redistributing, of course, to their clients. So you can see here, Marianne is in France, Bild is in Germany. This is also in Germany, Business Insider, this is in France. So the agencies and the press in general put our credits. So this is why it's much easier to just find it just because of our credits. But there are a lot of enterprise clients that are using our imagery that is not necessarily appearing on the internet and easy to find. I mean, with our infringement system, we'll be able to find them all. But these are some examples of where your imagery is being used. So, so it's not just about uploading and then getting the money. You're also using your the press is actually using your content. And this also comes, and this is a discussion that I had with one of our photographers after the meeting, after the webinar with Hugo, where the person was saying, like, you know, a lot of these areas are quite sensitive, and that is, and I do agree with that. But then there's also a journalistic point of view, and as photojournalists, we should be documenting what is changing in our environment. So that also comes to my next point, which is stay legal and stay safe. So make sure that you're safe when you're flying. Don't put yourself in mental or physical risk. So mental would be maybe somebody harassing you whilst you're flying. Physical risk, yeah, just always be safe. I think that is always the most important aspect. And make sure that you're flying legally and in authorized flight zones, also with your drones that gives you that information. Respect private property, and of course try to keep a safe distance from places. And a lot of the drones now have zoom lenses, so this also gives us the opportunity to be much further away and also capture imagery in a safer way. So what is the outcome of this 45-day challenge? So we're going to be supporting you in building a relevant portfolio. We're going to give you feedback on your progress creatively and technically, and you'll be able to, of course, interact with each other through our live calls and through our NAS feed. And of course, we want to increase your portfolio numbers and, of course, your revenue. And the cherry on top of the cake, the fun part is there's going to be some prizes at the end. So my last slide, and this is kind of where we're going to shoot. Before we go into any questions, I just want to show you this map. So in this presentation, you got the link to the map, and I'm going to show you now a little bit what is possible to shoot. So quickly before I show you the map, I just want to kind of show you all the different possibilities. So these are again from Hugo's webinar that we did. These are all the different shots that you'll be able to shoot. Mostly these are in the Netherlands and in Northern Europe, but these are the things that you'll be able to shoot, and it's not limited to this, and depending on where you live in the world. So this is the map I wanted to show you, and I'm going to show you what it's called. So it's a map of the world that you can spin like this. And grid works. So I don't know if any of you have heard about gives you here, but it's so you can filter by solar, wind, offshore wind, storage, pumped storage, hydro, nuclear, gas, coal, oil, geothermal, biomass, and others. But they also have a filter which is data center. So you can turn these off and you can turn them back on. So what is very interesting is that you go to where you live in the world and you can go and discover all this, which is very exciting. You also have different layers and map types. So here, if I click on map type, the easiest would be to go to the satellite view. And in the satellite view, then you can zoom in. So I have another tab open here. And this is a zoom in from one of those points and in a satellite view. So you can see this is in, I don't know if it's in construction. It looks like a lot of these are in construction, but this is a zoom in that I did. And you can basically, now I'm going to zoom out. And you're going to see what it looks like. So this is somewhere in America. So it's a little bit, I'm just on my trackpad, so it's a little bit more difficult to zoom out. But here you can see. So I want to come back now to the meeting, and I'm just going to look at your questions.
I cannot hear you.
Really?
Hey,
Yeah,
Paul,
hello.
Paul,
Hi,
we
can you hear me?
hear you.
Can you hear me now? Hello?
I cannot hear you. No.
Okay, just 1 second. 1 second. Let me just unplug this. I'm just going to quickly go on to plug my cable in.
Still cannot hear you.
Paul, we
No?
can't hear you.
Okay, let me just go out
We
the
can't
meeting.
hear you.
Second. Okay, can you hear me, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened there. Cool. So
Ja,
I'm
beim
just gonna.
Runterfahren waren wir erst noch 4 Tage in Rom. Ja. Ja. Also der weißt du, der bleibt ja sowieso da. Wir lassen den gleich da oben. Ja, ja.
Okay. Guys, so I'm looking here in the questions in the chat, and I can't see any questions. So, here I've got a question. Is it acceptable to photograph newly developed residential properties for stock use? I noticed several similar examples in your presentation, but I'm concerned about potential architectural copyright use and the privacy of rights of residents. So yes, there's always the issue about private property. And so if you're shooting something that you're not sure about, it's always best to upload it as editorial. Again, I think you need to be respectful of what you're shooting and who you're shooting. And if you're shooting people on their property, you need to be respectful of that. If it's developments and residential construction, I think it should be okay to go and shoot construction sites. So I think, as again, you can also do your investigation. When we were shooting in Trieste, for example, and there was an aircraft carrier that came in, and we went to the police and we asked them, is it okay to shoot the aircraft carrier with our drones? They just said, yeah, just shoot it, but don't go over it. Don't get too close. So I think you also need to do your, you have to do your investigation. And, we're working also with big stock agencies. So you're one filter, we're another filter, and those big stock agencies are also other filters. So it kind of goes through a lot of filters before it's actually accepted. So, but again, if you have any questions, you can definitely post it in the feed, and we can answer that. Okay, so Will, you have a question? You can unmute yourself and ask the question.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can't hear you very well.
Hello? Any better?
No. Okay, try now.
Hello? Any better?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I just wanted to pick up on the beginning of the presentation. You showed a really interesting graphic, which was sort of a breakdown of revenue. And obviously a lot of that was sort of what you called ugly, being sort of infrastructure, power plants, industrial stuff. But there's also quite a large sector there, which was landmarks. Can you just share some more insights on that, please? Is that graph the total portfolio at Amazing Aerials, or is that landmark allocation actually where revenue is coming from as well?
Actually, I don't think it was meant to be landmark. I think it was landscape. I think there was a typo. It's more like landscape,
I
not
see.
landmark.
Okay. Okay, fantastic. And also I appreciate another graphic that you showed earlier, Hugo. I appreciate you're in the call. I'd love your input on this. Obviously, in May you had 1,500 assets, June 3,000, so that's a massive increase. I imagine obviously there's a lag period there between sort of distribution and revenue updating, which is why you've only seen a slight increase. I was wondering if you could sort of just comment on, is the majority of the stuff that you're transacting predominantly industrial, quote unquote, ugly sort of stuff, or are you sort of, you know, are you selling a lot of landmark stuff? The only reason I'm asking this and I'm sort of pushing this point, I'm just curious. I've got a period of time right now in London, and I'm wondering, should I focus more on the landmarks in London that I can shoot, or actually just go and chase this industrial stuff?
Do you want to give your feedback? Hugo?
Yes, if you can hear me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're in the UK. I just came from the UK.
Yeah, I saw you actually filmed on the Slough Industrial Estate, funnily enough, which I'm kicking myself, but I live 2 streets over from that.
Oh, really? Well, it's one of the largest data center clusters in Europe.
Yes.
Absolutely. And next to this, what Paul said about the rules, regulations, the UK is very, very open in accepting drones. So you can fly at a lot of places. So that's a great opportunity, and even more than most countries I've ever been to. But next to that, yeah, the numbers are, of course, a bit short term. And also the dates on which the portfolio size was registered is not always on the same. So it's not really constant. So there can be a lot of fluctuation. Of course, you have to look at, it will give a better insight if you look at 1 year or 2 years, then you get a way more stable. So it can be that in the short term you have high quality, and then maybe you traveled a bit and that's a bit less in demand maybe. So then it can also fluctuate. So there's a lot of things influencing the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And the longer term you look, the better representative it gets, I guess.
And can I just get your input really quickly on my question regarding landmarks? One of the things that I've been shooting a lot of recently is government buildings, local councils, that kind of thing. Are you also doing that, or is your time purely spent on chasing these sort of industrial coal data renewable?
Yeah, well, I have some good experience with government buildings for sure. So yeah, I would definitely, if I would be in the area, this would be definitely on my radar, because they have a lot of influence on people, on companies, on regions. So yeah, they're interesting, I would say, yes.
Okay, thank you. Paul, if you've got any thoughts on that, I'd love to hear it as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, I look at the sales that are coming in, you know, and of course we want to push everything related to development and the changing environment. But of course, it doesn't mean that you have to put aside any of your creative work, you know, that you want to also shoot, because the other day, for example, we got like a bunch of top-down abstracts that we sold. So this is not to say don't shoot the other stuff, don't shoot the landmarks, and don't shoot the cityscapes. It's more like saying, please include this, and now you have a clear focus. We're giving you the tools, we're giving you the maps and the creative direction. So now you have the opportunity, and also it's going to really reflect on your income. And I think the more revenue you can generate with your portfolio, the more incentivized you are to build it even more. And yeah, and then the extra revenue that you have, then of course you can. It's good for your personal life in that sense, if you want to go traveling or invest in something. So I think it's also really important to. And yes, it would also be a mistake from us not to talk about this opportunity. So.
Thank you.
Okay, great. I have for some reason, I get the. I can't scroll down all the questions here for some reason. I don't know why. Nilaya, you had some questions, so
Yeah, yeah. I recently uploaded, as you know, and started uploading, and then some 2 weeks ago, I sold 2 videos from solar panels and highway and industrial center. And I was actually very shocked about the revenue. It was 36 cents per video. So I never sold a video so low in price. So I was wondering, is it really worth to upload videos to Amazing Aerials?
So as I shared also, the premium distribution network of photos is much stronger.
Yeah, I know that.
Than video. Our video sales are definitely increasing. Of course, you might, because you know, it also depends on the partner that we're working with. So sometimes it might be like $12, $20, but then sometimes it might be lower. And we definitely don't want to have these lower sales, but they do exist. And this is also another reason why we're also looking into other alternatives than these subscription agencies, because the subscription agency is like, it's all you can eat, and it doesn't really serve us. And it's so we're also hopefully over the next quarter or 2 quarters, we're going to be reflecting on whether we're going to be using these subscription agencies. And this is why we're developing our YouTube channel, because we believe that we will be able to earn more money with monetization on YouTube than with these subscription agencies. So you will get, I mean, some people might get $200, $300 for a license of photos, but then you might get like 30 cents. So what we're trying to do is try to really keep a really good average. And unfortunately, some slip. So, for example, some press agencies which constantly telling them don't allow web sales. But unfortunately, some do slip through. And I remind them at every sales report that we get, hey, you know, these slip through. Just make sure that this client doesn't have access to it. So we're constantly monitoring our revenue, and we just don't want to undermine our work for sure.
Yeah, because it was just my 2 first sales, so it was not so encouraging to, you know, I mean, maybe you can understand when the revenue is so low. Mm-hmm. I was just, also joining Amazing Aerial because I'm also on stock, and I find the revenue of my photos.
Have you had any? What's your ratio of video and photos that you have at Amazing Aerial?
The ratio, it was just a few, but the two
No,
videos.
you have more photos or more videos?
Yeah, much more photos.
Okay. Well, you'll start getting the revenue from the photos coming in, so you'll see you're gonna get more.
I mean, it is especially about the videos. I mean, I was shocked about.
As I said, you'll have a sales report. You'll have lines and lines, and some will be higher and some will be lower. So yeah, you saw the lower part, and maybe it's not encouraging, but a lot of our photographers on our team are very happy with the revenue. And our sales are continuously increasing. So, and we're trying to protect.
Yeah, but 36 cents.
Nilaya, that's the way it is, as I just explained. I can't change it. I just explained to you the situation.
Yeah, I understand. Thank you.
Okay, Nilaya. Stefan?
Wait, do you hear me? Yes.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add the video thing because I realized that last month I sold more videos than photos, and the video says that the price is less. Yeah, that's true. So it was between $1.30 and $10. But I can see some videos selling always over and over again. So I have, let's say, 4 or 5 clips. I realized they sold maybe 15 or 20 times now, because it's like shots people are looking for. And I now also focus on putting more of my video stuff on, because I think there's a big demand. And even if the rate is lower, if you have like the shots the people looking for, with time and with the amount, you make like the good money. I
It,
see.
it looks like, because it's the video is sold really already 2 times. It's maybe 3 weeks online, you know. I mean, and there's a few videos online, so it looks like it has potential. But yeah, I mean, as I say,
So I-
but
So
Yeah,
as
thank
I,
you,
as I
Stefan.
was also saying that as you know, photos have a much higher potential of earnings. So prioritize first your photo uploads,
Yeah.
and then it's you also need to have video, because that does generate revenue. It's basically how you prioritizing. William, you have another question? Sorry, Stefan, do you have any other questions, or? Okay, great. William, do you have another question? Okay. Emily?
Hi, Paul. Hi, guys. I'll
Hi,
just
hi, Emily.
I'll just summarize the questions that I asked in the chat. I see that now the
Okay.
challenge is open for us to submit, right? Do we, and I joined late, do we need to tag our uploads with anything to be included in the challenge, or just upload?
You don't have to tag with anything in particular.
Okay.
We're going to be monitoring all the uploads. We'll know who's within the challenge.
Great.
Just try to be accurate with the AI tool in the landmark part, where you can add the location. I mean, all things that you should be specific, and then also make sure that those environmental keywords are there. Like, so yeah, just
Yeah.
even though the AI does a great tool with that, does a good job with that. It's always good that you look at your metadata, and you can
Always.
you can batch edit your keywords. So if you have to add a few keywords to your whole set, you can just do it in one go, and it'll add it to all of them. So I'm uploading
Yes.
now the latest tutorials that we have. So I will also make those available. It basically explains how to edit your metadata and how to access your sales reports, and about rejections and stuff like that. And we'll be adding more and more tutorials as we go along. So
Super. My one other question was, is it okay if we upload older photos, or does it have to be taken within the challenge timeframe to be eligible?
it can be older,
Okay.
for sure. Yeah, if you shot things a couple of
Last
months ago,
week.
or even a year ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's no problem. Yeah.
Okay,
It's
super.
this is not limiting. So everything that we're talking about that you should shoot, you can also shoot up other things, of course. But we're trying to give you a clearer direction. So
Yeah.
so yeah, great.
Cool.
Anything else? Anything else, Emily?
I think just one of the things that I shot last week was a commercial building with a green roof, which I don't know if that was listed in your earlier thing, but I would say as like sort of the transition to new energy and green things. It might be worth people checking out the green roofs in your area, because I always, like, my organization is always sourcing stock photos of green roofs. So I think they're popular.
And what we're also going to be doing very soon is doing Google search terms. So if anybody goes onto Google and writes data center, then we're going to, we can't really compete with, let's say, Getty and their advertising and Shutterstock, but we can compete on niche. And so we'll be doing specific keyword search advertising. So, and then we'll be able to create galleries. So now with this 45 days, we'll be able to build a really strong portfolio, and then really advertise that.
Super, thank you.
Thanks, Emily. William?
Sorry, Paul, I muted myself. You can hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. I just wanted to ask, on editorial and commercial, are you seeing much of a difference in terms of the yield per image? So earlier you were talking about sort of, I think you said it was $1.5 per image per year. Is there a difference between editorial and commercial on that, and is it significant?
So yes, everything has like the aerial photo and a ground photo will be different in terms of revenue potential, and commercial and editorial will also have a difference. So I mean, a commercial license is it can be used in advertising, But if it's editorial, then they can't use it in advertising. So if it is an editorial license, then it is more limited, for sure.
Let's say you had 1,000 commercial aerial photos and 1,000 editorial aerial photos, would you expect the earnings ratio of both of those aerial photo sets to be similar, or would you expect the commercial to significantly outperform the editorial?
Yeah, I would say 10 to 1.
Wow. Okay, that's insightful.
Yeah. So because I mean, a lot of the commercial agencies that we work with might not accept editorial, so then they won't even appear there. So that's why it's I would say 10 to 1. So try to shoot as commercially as possible. So if you have to remove a logo, so something else that I wanted to mention in terms of creative direction, and we'll go more and more into that when you start uploading, and we start seeing the different imagery that you're uploading. We'll be able to give a clearer direction. But what I wanted to say is that if you shoot a wide angle of a data center, I'll just give you an example of a data center. If you shoot a wide angle of a data center, then you have the location and the situation, and then it's good for a person looking for that place. But if somebody's looking for a concept of a data center, so that's why if you're using a zoom lens and you zoom into a part of a data center, whether it's the fans or some steam coming out or something like that, then that could be used universally anywhere in the world. So when you go out and shoot, you need to kind of think of these different concepts. So you need to go, okay, I'm going to go and shoot panoramas, I'm going to go and shoot videos, I'm going to shoot like photos, I'm going to shoot vertical, I'm going to shoot horizontal. But then you also need to kind of think of, okay, I'm going to shoot tight and wider. So the tighter you are, the more specific it is. So, and then it becomes more universal to use. So that's what I also wanted to mention in terms of how you shoot. So I can give you maybe some. Let me just give you a few examples here. Let me just share my screen again of something that can be used universally. So just my screen is loading. Okay, and I'm coming to Hugo's. So can you see my screen? My share screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so this would be a concept which could be used universally. This, for example, this wouldn't be universal shot, because this is you can really say, okay, I can identify that it's in this country, that it's actually this place, it belongs to this company, but something tighter like that. Okay, maybe this is also less identifiable. This is also maybe less identifiable. So what I'm trying to do is talking about concepts. And also I think the first image, or this one, for example, yeah, I mean, this could be any motorway, it could be any charging station in Europe. So try to also think in terms of conceptual.
Sorry to butt in. Can I just ask, with that one there of the charging station for the electric cars, is that a commercial photo? Did you get that approved as a commercial photo?
Yeah, I would upload that as commercial. So I would maybe remove any logos that are there. I mean, there you got a guy, but he's from the back. So I think, but I would definitely remove the logos. And so you can't sell something editorial if you're going to be removing logos or manipulating the image. So that's a no-go. But in terms of commercial, you have the commercial freedom to do whatever you want. So you could change the colors of the car. You could replace it with a Porsche or a Ferrari, whatever, and you can upload that as commercial. So yeah, there's a big difference.
You could get away. Would you say that you could get away with having someone in the image if they're that far away? I've been uploading editorially of very similar things because I didn't have mod release for these people.
No, I would upload this as commercial.
Okay, that's really insightful. Thank you, Paul.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's also like a trade-off. If it's too much work, then it's not really cost effective to do all the that's a bit of the trade-off, right? The work you invest versus what it gives you extra.
Yeah, and I think it's also really important to kind of get in the box what you want to get. So if you see that you can see some logos from this angle, maybe you can move a little bit further where maybe the logos, they kind of disappear, and then you don't have to do the editing afterwards. Or somebody's in your shot looking at your drone, well, you might want to wait a couple of seconds that he moves away, maybe he gets in his car. So these are the things that you might want to consider when you're flying. Nick has a question.
Yeah, hi Paul. Hi everyone. Is my
Hey.
microphone working? Yep.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Great. Just a couple of questions. One's a bit general, just in terms of ground photos. So I understand aerial is premium and the videos have been covered. In terms of ground photos, is it premium or not? And is there any point shooting ugly ground, I guess, ugly ground photos?
I would definitely shoot even of data centers from the ground. I mean, I have a man here, he's a manager of a data center. He works for Oracle, and I'm actually discussing with him, he's like, oh yeah, you can come to Germany and I can arrange for you to come inside the data center and you can photograph. So it's, this is like talk of being highly restricted subjects that we're shooting. But yeah, that's a discussion. But to answer your question, our ground photos are sold premium, so they are premium.
Okay.
So they're not. Nothing is sold at micro stock. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Only the videos are sold to the micro platforms because there's no kind of premium video, and that's what we want to try to create also at Amazing Aerials, like have high quality video that people can then come to us and license directly rather than going. And this is why our YouTube channel is also going to be very interesting, because we're going to be pushing out our content onto YouTube. People will be able to see it, and then they'll be able to also come back to Amazing Aerials and license it.
Thank you, that helps. Just I have a second quick question as well. I just happened to upload some some wind farms that I was really happy with the shots, and I'm just wondering if for the competition, if we've already uploaded stuff, does it count or does it not count in terms of the competition? Like the date starts today.
No, the challenge started last week. So
okay.
It kind of launch day is today, but I started. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to keep it within a date range. So I mean, if it's uploaded maybe, I don't know, a week before it started, then of course we can include it. It's not a problem. But if it was uploaded 6 months ago, maybe not. But if you have old stuff,
I think somebody else asked the same question, so hopefully that helps them as well. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, I think the whole idea is to document something, and you can document it from the ground, from the air, from photography, and also from video. So if you're on the location, try to get the diversity of the formats. So you can also sell your ground photos if you're next to it. And again, you don't want to go to the data center and put your lens through the thing and then attract security guards and things like that. So but I was looking with Damir, who's a data center manager, and we were looking at Google. We were looking at Google Maps, like the cars driving around, taking pictures of outside the data centers. So Google is taking pictures of data centers. And then you also have the data centers advertising and marketing. So you go to their YouTube channel, you go to their website, and then they got also drones flying around inside and taking pictures of the outside. So it might be sensitive, but that information is really out there. So it's I'm always like, I don't want to go and tell you guys, hey, go and shoot it. There's no risk whatsoever, But what I want to also do is, like, you have to measure also the risk of something happening. And so, yeah. Any other questions? Oh. Stefan?
Yes, sorry, I just started talking, even if it was not already my turn. I was a bit too quick. So
No, you are. You got your hand raised.
okay, you got one thing cleared already with we can shoot everything like video, all stuff is equitable. And the other question is about the logos and the commercial thing. I'm always unsure because Frankfurt Skyline, there are plenty of logos, and it's especially in the videos, it's really hard to get them away. And I was asking myself, if it just takes in account the logo, if I see it at 100%, if I see it in the whole frame, or does it also takes in account if I see it at 100%, the logo, you know, with the crop, because sometimes I also have panorama images in the whole image, you don't see them good. But if you go in, because you have so much resolution, you see like thousands of logos, let's say like this. So what do you say about this? How big has the logo needs the logo to be to get removed? Or does it have to be removed if I can realize it in any case?
So with video, there's definitely a lot more flexibility. I'm talking about the point of view of being accepted at the agencies, right? Not from our point of view. So videos, there's a little bit more flexibility. I mean, if there's like a big logo that you're filming, I mean, it's going to be a no-go. But if it's a small logo somewhere in the background, I think the curator will let it go. However, if it's a photo, then they do check it 100%, and then it will most likely be rejected. So you have, so related to image, let's say you're doing a skyline of Frankfurt, and you want to put it there, and you want to be available for people to buy, but you also want it to be commercial, then you can also, if you want to, take the time to delete the logos and upload it as a commercial, but you can also take the same photo and upload it as editorial. So you can have like the editorial part where maybe somebody wants to see the logos. Like we had a HSBC brief where they wanted to see the logo. They wanted a photo where they saw HSBC. So if the logo hadn't been there, then you wouldn't be able to license or they wouldn't even have noticed it. So yeah, you can upload an editorial version and you can upload a commercial version.
Yeah, that's how I'm doing it right now. And with the videos, I'm looking for the shots. Like I've just uploaded plenty of Frankfurt Skyline shots, and I think the latest version of After Effects doesn't work as good as it has done in the version before, because I really had trouble removing the logos. It was really shitty. The tracking was shitty. Everything was shitty. And I just took 2-3 shots where the logo, where I was, okay, these are nice. I removed the logos there. The others too much work. And then I had some shots where haven't been logos. And with images, I do the same. I upload like the editorial stuff and like in commercial stuff where I remove the logos. Yes, and one last question about the challenge. We are able to shoot everything? No, it's mainly about the ugly stuff. It's not about skyline and stuff. It's about data centers, infrastructure, traffic.
It's about your changing environment. So if you have a new tower being built in Frankfurt, you should go and shoot it. So it's about your changing environment. So it can be anything. We're not talking about data centers here. We're talking about the changing environment. So for somebody who's living in Indonesia, for example, or in the Maldives, for example, there's no data centers being built there, but there are like doing new islands, these boats digging up the sand. So that people, we need to document that. So this is about the changing environment. It's not necessarily about data centers. And okay, and I just want to make one note, because Hugo was saying, you know, sometimes it might not be worthwhile kind of removing it or something like that. Also, Hugo, I think, shoots in a quite a way where he kind of goes out and gets as much content as possible, and by putting as much content out there as possible, it's going to really reflect on his sales. And then there could be the other point of view, like, oh, you know, I'm just going to go out and shoot a few things, but I just want them to be really good. So I think you need to find like a mixture, like a balance between like uploading a lot and uploading not enough. You have to find that kind of balance of not being too perfectionist that you're going to only upload 10 photos in this challenge, versus like, okay, I'm going to go and try and grab as much as possible, go out every day. And so that's what I wanted to say is you have to, you don't want to be sitting all day in your editing suite just for like three videos that you want to do. I mean, you can, but you just have to kind of measure it.
Yeah, and what I want to say about that is also, for example, you can try to make one really good photo, but it can be rejected or it can be buried in the search or something. So it's always good to have more opportunities, more uploads. And that's also the same thing about your editorial question. You have to keep in mind that there's always people judging your image. So one person can say it's editorial and the next one can say it's good as commercial. So there's no clear black and white answer. It's people's work. So you're always depending, and I upload more images to cover up that people factor, because if I have one really good image where I put all my work in and then they reject it, or then yeah, so it's a balance. So you need to consider all these factors, the human factor, the algorithm, you have to be lucky. So it's always a balance and not a one shot. Yeah,
I think there's also, I mean, this is where I also came from, like the microstock is like, you know, there's going to be like so much competition, hundreds of thousands of other images. And if I need to, and then there's a bunch of like thumbnails, and then if somebody needs to find my thumbnail and they might miss it, but then they might see my second thumbnail. So that's kind of the microstock mindset in terms of like, oh, we need to kind of be there. And then also in terms of like acceptance and rejection. So mostly everything that's uploaded to Amazing Aerial is actually accepted. It's like close to 100% because we do the curation. I mean, now we're having a lot of difficulties because there's a lot more content that is not up to scratch. But what I wanted to say is that your collection will lie in a premium collection for clients that are enterprise and that they don't want to spend time scrolling through hundreds and thousands of photos to find one good one. So that's why they choose to pay more money to spend less time finding the right image. So so I understand what Hugo's saying, and I do agree. Sometimes things might get rejected, but and you might want to upload more, but yeah, it's you have to, again, it's a balance. So Franz, you had a question?
Yes, yeah, one question about video. You said that, I think earlier also, that they sell for less because there are no premium categories at the agencies you're supplying. Will you kind of try to press the agencies to create premium video collections? Because in my experience, videos do sell quite good, of course, not as frequently as photos, but they sell for more than at least at the old stock agencies and so on. And I think that the market is growing in my experience, so it would be worthwhile.
You know, the video market is still growing very, very fast. It's just like how things are going in terms of, so for example, if you're in the microstock world and you're selling photos and you're selling videos are going to sell more than photos. Like photos, you're going to get 10 cents, and maybe a video you're going to get like $4. So you're going to be much happier with the video. But in our case, it's the reverse. You're going to get a lot more money for photos than you are for videos. But yeah, you definitely need to grow your video portfolio, and especially because of the YouTube channel that we're going to be creating, and like we're starting now, but it's going to accelerate a lot, and we're going to be asking you to basically go out and shoot specific things for our YouTube channel. So please don't ignore video. Video is really important. Yeah, and just also in terms of what has happened with the video markets in general, a lot of these bigger agencies kind of are selling out a little bit to the data sets. So they said, hey, let's just get as many videos as possible. And we're not going to make so much money on the videos themselves, but we're going to be making money on the data set sales. And yeah, so that's why a lot of these agencies went like buy like eat as much as you can, like pay one fee. That works for a certain amount of time, but then people won't want to upload videos anymore if they're not earning any money. So this is why we're also trying to find alternative ways to the subscription agencies. So there are some agencies that are still respecting the price, and that's where we're actually seeing higher sales. So please do upload videos because they will sell there and they will sell for a higher price. But there's some other agencies that are underselling that we want to get away from, but we're still working with them because they're still generating revenue. And until we've made up the difference with our YouTube channel, we will be continue working with them. So.
Okay. Yeah. I have a second quick question about the ground photo category. Don't you see a danger of kind of diluting the brand Amazing Aerial if there will be a lot of ground photos? So because
it's separate. It's a separate channel that we have. So yeah, so when you choose a category in the upload, it's basically a different channel. So for example, when we distribute, it's distributed separately. So at Adobe, for example, then we have the Amazing Aerial collection, you have the Amazing Travel and Lifestyle collection, you have the video collection. So it's all separate. So it's maybe a little bit more work for us in the setup and stuff like that, but then things are really kept separate. And then on our own website, then we have the filters. Then people can write, and then they can choose ground, they can choose editorial. So there you'll have the filters.
Yeah. Okay, because so far I've hesitated a little bit to submit a lot of ground photos because I was not sure how that will is that the best place to put the ground photos in Amazing Aerial, or is it better as other specialized agencies that really?
That's Amazing Aerial. Yeah, because we're getting premium rates for our ground photos.
Yeah. That's okay.
So we're getting exactly the same rates as we do for our aerial, but of course aerial is in way higher demand. So that's why the ground photo sales are lower, but the revenue per photo is good. It's really good. Franz, any other questions? Okay, so I'm going to take 2 more questions, and then I'm going to kind of move on in terms of like what we're going to be doing, right? Kind of going out for next week. Roman, you have a question?
Yes, Paul. Thanks for answering all the questions in the presentation. I have a quick one on the content-wise. Could you share a bit more information? Who is the target client for such kind of content, like power plants, data sensors, similar content? As well, I'm based in Germany, and it's like kind of due to regulations and so on, and like current political situation, if you fly like above some forest or like some landscape, I can say that I use it for my personal use. But if I fly somewhere like more production industrial, so I need a bit more content, if you could provide on that.
Well, I think the people using our imagery are actually the people whose place it is, the people that are in that market. People want to buy imagery of data centers because they're in the data center industry, developing AI. So, I mean, our clientele are enterprise clients. So the big Fortune 500 clients. They're also magazines. So I'm not sure how interested they're going to be in terms of data centers, but like the generic press and television stations, they're definitely going to be interested in that because it's current affairs. So yeah, I think it's just because it's spoken about constantly that's why it's in high demand. And in terms of like shooting in Germany, I mean, there was the discussion that we had last time on Hugo's webinar. It's like every country has its regulations, and there's a mentality also about respecting the rules and things like that. So people are more more afraid to go out and shoot things. So it's really up to you. We want to guide you. We don't want to put you at risk, but we also don't want to limit you either.
Right. Makes sense. Thanks.
Okay, Roman, thanks a lot. Nilaya?
One quick question. The challenge starts today. Is it not what you uploaded last week already, or?
Yeah, it started. So basically I launched the challenge last week. So announcing that the challenge is starting.
Okay.
And now is the first call, but the challenge started actually last week.
Okay. So from then on, actually, the what you upload is counting, or?
Yes. From
Okay.
last week. From last week.
Okay, thank you.
No
And
problem.
one other thing, I really want to thank you for all your effort, what you put in. It's really a good spirit, and I really like it. So it's already, yeah, for me, it's a win-win because I don't have anything to lose. I like to shoot, and I go out and I do what I can do. And but yeah, I really like the spirit. What is going on in Amazing Aerials, and I really want to thank you for that.
Thank you, Nilaya. And just you guys, for your information, Nilaya is a huge stock producer. She has a huge portfolio, and she's shooting amazing stuff. So when we start posting in the feed, you can also share your portfolio. And Nilaya has a really lot of experience. So yeah, listen, Amazing Aerial, I mean, the whole idea is that I want creatives to be able to earn a decent living, and I want us to also be educated. I want us to also come together as a community. I want us to meet. So we have our drone tours, but we've also had our meetups, we had our trainings. So this is just going to amplify. And we're going to be, so I'm telling you now, but in a like September, October, we're going to be launching a new platform. So don't be afraid about something new. It's going to be integrated. There won't be any migration like it happened last time. Everything has already been integrated, migrated. I've hired a developer. So our technology is going to be 100% Amazing Aerial owned. So that means that we won't need to rely on third parties. Maybe we still have a current platform, and there are our DAM system, but we're building our new backend and a new front end. And from that, we'll be able to build beautiful tools based on your feedback. So if you need something, hey, Paul, it'd be great if we could do this, we will do it. It's just, we want to build the best platform possible that we can thrive as stock photographers, but we can also thrive as photographers and as business people, building our business also where we live. Great. So I just want to come back a little bit because just like 10 more minutes now, just to give you an idea of what we want to try to achieve for next week and for until the end of August. So in Europe, it's summer, and I think it's a great opportunity for us to go out and shoot. I mean, in Europe, also in North America. In Australia, the weather's different. So what I'm trying to say is that we now have 45 days an opportunity to build our portfolio with meaningful content. And so I don't like the word homework, but what I would ask you to do is to go to that map and immerse yourself into the map. And actually, I'm going to share the map now because I just want to show you some fascinating things and share my thoughts on this map. So let me just bring it up again. Okay. I'm just waiting for it to load. Okay. Can you see the map?
Yep.
Okay, great. So firstly, what I wanted to show you is these lines here. Can you see? These are like connecting electric lines with like electricity or internet or anything. So you can see that the world is completely physically connected. You know, we talk about internet and wireless and things like that, but actually there's wires that are connecting. So North America to Europe, and then these lines, they go down Africa, and then they go into the certain countries here, and then go back down South Africa, then go up on the other side. So just in the sea, you've got all these electric lines which are connected. And the feeling that I had when I was looking at this map is that us humans, we're kind of clawed and connected into this planet, and we're drawing its energy. And this map is a really huge illustration of our impacts and how we're using the earth for our survival and also for our development. So I find that also fascinating. What I also find interesting is that certain regions, of course, have more dots than others. So you can see how concentrated Europe is in terms of all this development. You can see that in Africa, you have these dots, so it's not so clustered. India is also very much active in this. China, that's quite incredible. And then, of course, Australia down here, you have it down the East Coast, and surprisingly, New Zealand also. I think it's because of the geothermals. So this is the map that you need to get familiar with. You can only have the satellite view if you sign in. So you can just sign in and you'll be able to have all these different views and start to navigate where you live, start to zoom in and be surprised what is happening around you, and let it inspire you to go out and shoot. So I would say take the first week to find out what is around you. So it can be 100 meters away from you, it can be 10, it can be 50 kilometers, depending on how far you are, how ready you are to drive and to travel. And yeah, and take the time to find out what is in your environment, and then start planning it. I think planning is really important. Saying, okay, this is interesting, that is interesting, maybe I can shoot this tomorrow, and maybe I can shoot this at this time of the day. And start planning out, and you can plan it out over the next 45 days. So don't overwhelm yourself in the first week or 2 weeks, but more plan it so you don't burn yourself out, and that you find pleasure in building this portfolio. And I think after 1 week or 2 weeks, we're going to be starting to see some very interesting imagery coming in, and be surprised what is actually in our environments. And personally, I'm also going to participate. I have a lot of things in my environments also that is changing, so I'm also going to shoot it. There's a lot of construction, a lot of roads going up. So I'm going to also be part of this challenge with you.